Delegate Galen Claggett. Also Carol A. Hirsch.
Thank you.
On the end, Alderwoman Karen Lewis-Young. Thank you so much for joining us. In tonight's forum, we'll be inviting the candidates to give 2-minute opening and closing statements in between. However, we're going to have about 9 rounds of questions. And what we hope is a unique feature. We're encouraging some interplay between the candidates to test their mettle. Each candidate will take a question from me during those 9 questions round. Then the other 2 candidates will have 45 seconds each to respond as well. They could answer the question, they could speak to the topic, or they might use that time to criticize the other candidate's response. Keep it nice, that's all.
Very well.
We're in untested waters here, so who knows how it will go. Hopefully this will be beneficial to you in making a choice. Candidates, please keep your eyes on the timer lights ahead of you. Amber signals 15 seconds left, red means stop. As many of you know, Ms. Hirsch is deaf, hence we have interpreters here who will be interpreting for her. We'll be trying to, candidates, if you could moderate I know it's difficult when you only have a certain amount of time, but in order to enable the interpreters to be able to sign effectively, if we could just modulate how fast you speak, that would be great. I'm sorry to put that stringency on you, but we really are trying to be fair to everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we'll also have some leeway on the timing a little bit, because as you can imagine, there is a lag between Ms. Hirsch signing and the interpretation. So, fair warning. Okay. Let's get going. We're going to start with opening statements. So, we're going to take it in alphabetical order, starting with Delegate Galen Claggett.
Thank you very much. First, let me say I'm very happy to be here. I appreciate the efforts of the sponsors, and I certainly appreciate everyone's coming out this evening. I guess the most important thing for me is to speak from my heart, and I'm going to do that. I have spent 20 years in public service. This job as mayor is a hands-on job. As I said earlier, I'm vested in this city, raised my family here, my business is here. I went to Frederick High School. Unlike some folks, I had no choice. I was born here, and I'm kind of happy that I was born here, as a matter of fact. I think what I bring to the table is experience, multi-level experience, and I think to take this city to the next level, that's exactly what we need. And that's not egotistical on my part. I think that's what this campaign is all about. Who's best able to move Frederick to the next level in all aspects, both the operating and the capital budgets. And I do have a vision. I'd like to, as I said, take the city to the next level. I'm going to think globally, out of the box. We're going to look at ways to combine the county and the state and make it a partnership. We're on the precipice here of an interesting time next year with home rule. It's going to be very important for the county executive and the mayor of Frederick City to work together. And I bring to the table lots of connections to the state so that that triumvirate can work together to enhance and improve the quality of life in Frederick City. There are lots of things I'd like to say about what the vision is, but I think they'll come out tonight when we have our questions. Again, I thank you, and I'm very happy to be here on the occasion of the Great March in Washington. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now move on to Carol Hirsch. If I could just ask one question. Carol, are the lights okay for you? Very bright. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't think
I don't know what to do. They're pretty bright, but I don't know what to do.
I'm not sure what we can do. Maybe
it'll be better. I'll be okay. I don't know how you'll solve the problem. The lights.
Well, I'll get a stone and maybe we can take a couple out. I was kidding.
You could turn in the lights and we could lose this Nixon perspiration.
That's right.
It's fine.
Okay, well, Ms. Hirsch, I'd like to invite you.
These lights, yeah.
Okay.
It's okay, let's just go ahead, I'll be fine. Thank you so much
All right.
for thinking of me, thank you.
You're very welcome. Let's go ahead and take...
Hello, I am Carol Ann Hirsch. It's so nice that you've come here this evening. It's wonderful to be at FCC, and I just want to thank them for having us here tonight. The interpreters are here, and we're going to learn a lot from one another. Thanks for being here. Okay. I wanted to introduce my interpreters to everyone. And you in the audience too, I welcome you. Okay, so my vision, what would I like to see in the city of Frederick? And I think back, and we were very small and a sweet little kind of a town. And I've been here in the 1980s. It was a very small place to live, beautiful, beautiful place to live. And now, I moved here actually 15 years ago, but things have gotten better. Things in the world, Maryland State and America, things are difficult now economically. We have the best education in the world here though. The big question is, the city is getting large and the state of Maryland is getting large. It's the second largest city actually in Maryland is Frederick. So I've had experience actually in New York and more of a rural area, and now I'm here in Frederick. It's really expanding, and so we really need to be smart about the expansion. It's awkward. There's a lot of decisions to make about the environment. What are we going to do? We have to be smart and to learn how to be kind to the environment. Thank you. Oh, perfect timing.
There we go, excellent. Okay. Well, if you'd like to give her a round of applause, please do. And I'll move on to Karen Young.
Thank you very much to all of you for participating in the ultimate form of democracy. Let me tell you why I want to be mayor. I have a passionate commitment to this community and to the citizens in it. Hopefully, I've demonstrated that over the past 17 years by giving of myself to a large variety of community organizations. For the past 4 years, I have been honored to serve as your alderman, and I have worked very hard to meet your needs and to do a deep dive on those issues that are most pertinent to your everyday experiences and your quality of life. I have also tried to meet your needs by prioritizing citizen service and responsiveness, by representing our community and fighting for you at all levels of government, by also relentlessly pursuing best practice information so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. And I've tried to balance fiscal responsibility with essential service delivery. On the eve, well, actually on the day of Martin Luther King's March to Washington, representing equality, I have to look back and think about how that relates to me. And in some ways it saddens me that after 36 years after graduating from one of the most academically rigorous business training institutions in the United States, sometimes I have to build my case for my business experience because unfortunately women's business experience has been dismissed or undermined. But I have rigorous training in the best corporations in the United States, managing large organizations, best practices in people management, and many of the same skill sets it takes to run a large city.
Thank you very much. Give a round of applause. And without further ado, it is time for our 9 rounds of questions. I'm going to give each candidate an opportunity to start off, so everybody gets to fire off twice at the beginning of a round. So first of all, we're going to start with Delegate Claggett. The city is beginning to address a backlog of projects. You will have seen some of those priorities in the mayor's latest budget. So what we'd like to know is your main areas of concern for the coming fiscal year and beyond, where you'd most like to see perhaps the the money of the city going. Also, with keeping the budget balanced and no new revenue on the horizon, if you would like to see an area where the budget is perhaps cut.
Wow.
I can say it again.
Well, let me talk first about the capital program. There are many opportunities for Frederick, the city of Frederick, to move forward in that arena. We will be able to put together some vital partnerships to have the Hotel Conference Center become a reality. As you know, during my time as a delegate, we were able to get the full interchange on Route 15, the East Street extension, the ramp on 26. Those are examples of what we need to do in league with the county and the state to finish projects. So my effort will be to load the toolbox so that we have the proper implements to do these partnerships on the capital side and make these projects a reality. On the operating side, I've done budgets since Grant was a corporal. I've been in this business for many, many years at all different levels, and I think that the operating budget is a matter of priorities and common sense, and I bring that to the table, and I'll work hard to make sure we do that.
Very good, thank you. And now I'm going to give the other candidates 45 seconds each to respond. We'll start with Ms. Hirsch.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Absolutely. In basic, it's about the city budget, where you would like to place your priorities for spending and perhaps cutting.
Okay, great. My ideas came back now. Okay, so the United States of America, our culture, it's all about money, right? All the time we're talking about money. Down through history, it's really all about money. So we've decided, we have to decide how we're going to get together, what we're going to vote on, how we're going to use the money in the best way for the people. It would be nice for us to focus on a nice plan going forward many years. The environment is important. We need to start with our city, our own city, and we can then influence other cities in the surrounding areas in America.
Very good, thank you. One thing I might have forgotten to mention is we are going to give the original candidate who took the question 30 seconds rebuttal time at the end. I'm sorry if I left that out, it's my fault, but I did actually share that with the candidates so they were aware. So everything is fair and square, I hope. So we'll move on to Alderwoman Karen Neal.
Thank you very much. I'm going to approach this a little bit differently. There are two initiatives that I have proposed during this administration that have not taken hold yet. I'm not sure we need to cut anything. I think we can operate more efficiently. And let me tell you my two ideas. One is called priority-based budgeting. It's a relatively new concept, but essentially it says you outline your priorities, you get community input, you get buy-in, and you allocate your budget according to priorities. We've done that somewhat with strategic planning, but we can take that process to the next level. The other thing I've recommended is business process review. I believe that there are opportunities in the city to operate much more efficiently and effectively. And if we do that, we may not have to cut any essential services.
Thank you very much. And now we'll come back to Delegate Draggett for a 30-second response.
Thank you. Back to the operating budget, I think it's important to do exactly that, and that is to have a significant and really I would say a firm plan to do the operating budget, and that involves long-term planning, short-term planning, critical to what we do. And that's how we'll be able to address the pension system, the policing, and all the other things that have come to the forefront tonight and will come out later. I think it's a matter of process, and I believe that we'll do that in a team-like effort, so that we establish operating budget priorities and reach our goals in a realistic and sensible way without affecting the tax rate. By the way, we are...
I'm going to cut you off right there. I'm afraid we've run way over time.
I just want to say...
I know. And what we're going to do is if you could pull that mic just a wee bit closer, you'll be able to
Excuse
me.
to hear. Yes.
Is it the same question now that I'll be answering?
No, you will be getting a different question. Everybody gets a different question and an opportunity to
New
respond.
question, okay.
Right. So, we're going to Ms. Hirsch. You will get your time now. Ways to mitigate blighted and vacant properties have been discussed at great length over the past 2 administrations, maybe more, and have resulted in a comprehensive suite of potential new rules. Has the city done enough to combat these problems? Should it go further? If so, how? I'm happy to read that again.
You're talking about the blighted property.
Blighted properties. Have we done enough? Is there more to do?
That's a very, very important, complicated issue that's happening all over the United States and cities, blighted properties. They've been set up, they're constructed, and then they start to fall apart. So we have to focus in the community and see what do we need. We need to get independent businesses involved. We have to look at the empty and vacant spaces. What are we going to do with these buildings? It's obvious that there's new development happening, but there's also vacant buildings. So we need to take care of the vacant buildings first, to keep them open. And it would be nice not to set up more buildings and more buildings until we take care of the blighted properties.
Thank you very much. We'll go next to Ms. Young for your response. 45 seconds.
I would say that we just haven't moved quickly enough. 2 years ago, I made several recommendations on blighted and vacant properties, and then a task force was developed and assigned that essentially 2 years later came back with similar recommendations. So I think we could have moved more quickly. There are some very specific things we need to do, strengthen our ability to use administrative search warrants so that we can get in and find code violations. But we also need to have a balanced array of punitive measures and support measures like tax incentives and fines for violations in which we can deal more effectively with these problems. And we're about to vote on receivership next week.
Thank you very much. Ms. Klager.
The answer is simple. Where there's a will, there's a way. We have the tools, and we're going to add to that package to bring about an end to these blighted properties. And I think that the strong executive, and there are 2 cities in the state of Maryland with a strong executive system, Baltimore and the city of Frederick. And a strong executive can push those issues very hard, can bring those incentives we need to make those properties go away. But that means a strong effort on the part of the county, or the county executive, the mayor, and I would be anxious to take that role, frankly.
Very good, thank you. And now we return to Carol Hirsch for a 30-second response.
Thank you. Yes, we need to push it forward. We need to communicate with the community, the people who live in the city. We're a family. We have families live here. We need to figure out what we're going to do together. We need more and greater communication with one another.
Very good. Thank you.
Perfect timing.
You do have till the red light, just so we're aware.
I know, forgive me.
That's okay.
I really I see these lights at home. I use lights at home as I'm a deaf person. I have an alarm that's deaf, the doorbell lights up, and so I'm very used to lights, but I really want to obey the lights.
That's all we want.
Thank you.
We'll move down the line to Alderwoman Young. And your question. A 2012 evaluation has the city's unfunded pension liability at $104 million. And as you know, we've editorialized on the need for pension reform. So, what's your position on how the city's been tackling this expensive problem and what more can be done?
Update, we are down to $100 million We just got that information today. Not a deep decline, but it is directionally correct. I would say that we're not moving quickly enough. Many of us ran on a platform of tackling this problem because we knew that it was not economically sustainable. I was counting for a while how many times we discussed this at meetings. We're well over 30. Now, it shouldn't take that long to make decisions, but we have made some progress. We have made some progress for new employees. Again, that's directionally correct. Keep in mind, though, that legally, we have a lot of limitations as to what we can do. There are promises made to employees and retirees that we must honor. So we have a very narrow window in terms of those kind of things that we have some latitude on. We have made some very good changes. We should have made them quicker so that it would have had a quicker impact on the bottom line.
Thank you. Delegate Claggett, 45 seconds.
45 seconds.
45.
Thank you very much. My time in Annapolis was spent partially on the Pensions Committee. And during that time, we overhauled the state system. And there were many things that we had to do that were not comfortable. But one of the things I think we need to do at this level is to make sure our investments work better for the program itself. And that's not been the case. There are other things that we can implement and we should implement to shore up the defined benefit package. I think it's important because we have made promises to keep those promises. And I think there are tools that we can put into place to get that, to get our house in order, including getting help from the state of Maryland. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Hush, you have 45 seconds.
Yeah, we always want many people to think about the future, and we need the money. It can get very confusing. We need good planning, good budgeting. It would be nice to contact Annapolis and send somebody here. Get the money from them to help us out. $45 million. We could borrow it from Annapolis and they could give it here and it would help us to get things rolling here.
Thank you. And finally back to Mrs. Young for your 30 seconds.
Thank you, Delegate Claggett, for mentioning the fact that our investment trust portfolio is not invested wisely. I brought that to the attention of my colleagues almost 2 years ago because of my background in financial services and analysis. I saw that our portfolio was underperforming in the market. The asset allocation was not appropriate for an institution our size, and that we also needed to develop an investment policy. At my urging, we developed an investment committee, and we are now about to manage that portfolio very differently going forward.
Thank you very much. Our next question, we come back to Delegate Claggett. With the Monocacy Boulevard US 15 interchange funded with $82 million from the state, removing it from the city's top transportation priority, what is the next part of our transportation network you would like to see addressed?
That's a tough question. There are a number of projects that are important to me. Monocacy Boulevard would be a high priority on my list. I'd like to look at completing, if possible, and making sure that we do, the inner loop around the city of Frederick so that we take a lot of the traffic off the interstates. I believe those are really, really important projects. I also think that we need to work on light rail. When I was a commissioner in 1980, we asked for light rail, and they laughed at us. We're still sending 35,000 people down the road every day to work, and we need to push really hard. We have begun to work with Montgomery County to try to get some reform and some change and some access to a realistic light rail system to transport people to work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Hirsch, you have 45 seconds.
New roads in the area. It would be nice to set up a friendly environment. I think about a long time ago, with the trolleys, yes. We had trolleys. And it would be nice to go back to trolleys. Very friendly way for the environment to set up trolleys. And bicycles, scooters, be wonderful. You know those scooters you just stand on and you go riding on those? Just much more friendly for the environment.
Thank you. Alderman Neal. Yes, Alderman Neal.
Transportation priorities in this order. Maintain our roads and bridges. 2, reduce traffic congestion. 3, more predictable and reliable public transportation. And finally, a more walkable, bikeable city that's better connected.
Thank you very much. And we come back to Delegate Claggett. You have 30 seconds. If you'd like to finish it.
I think if you look at the relationship we've had with the state, it's easy to see that we have made a lot of progress. We're currently replacing bridges. We have commitments, as was stated earlier, to do the full interchange on Route 15. And the State Department of Transportation has been willing to spend lots of time to try to improve anything that's brought to their attention. So that would be a priority, in my opinion, to work carefully with them on the state aspects of transportation.
Thank you very much.